That's enough of us. We call our Tuesday, August 8th, City Council meeting to order. We have Pledge of Allegiance and invocation by Councilwoman Byrd.
Join me, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Move the agenda, ma'am.
There are no special presentations today. Can I get approval on the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, minutes stand without objection. We have ordinances on final reading. Madam, if there's no objection from council, we can take items A and B as a group. Okay, Madam Clerk?
Item A, an ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone property located at 1013 South Greenwood Avenue from R1 residential zone to UGC urban general commercial zone, subject to certain conditions. Item B, an ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone properties located at 2706 Dodge Avenue, 2767 East 28th Street, and an unaddressed parcel in the 2700 block of East 28th Street from R1 residential zone to RTZ residential townhouse zero lot line zone.
Councilwoman Toolround.
Move to approve.
Okay, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Madam Clerk, item C.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 16, Section 1659 through 1666, relative to the Police Advisory and Review Committee by instituting a moratorium on the application of Section 1659 through 1666 of City Code for a period beginning immediately from the effective date of this ordinance up to and including October 29, 2023.
Councilman Henderson?
Move approval. Second.
Been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
All right. There was 2 noes? 3 noes. All right. We need roll call vote? We'll take a roll call vote.
Okay. Councilwoman Coonrod? Councilwoman Byrd?
No.
Councilman Hester?
Yes.
Councilman Ledford?
Yes.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Henderson?
Yes.
Vice Chair Hill?
No.
Chair Dodley?
Yes.
That's 5 yeses.
Motion passes. Ordinances on the first reading on the legal, item A.
An ordinance amending Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 2, Section 230322 and 2311-1 relative to general pension plan.
Councilwoman Byrd.
Move approval.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Item B under planning.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to lift conditions of number 11B and number 11C from ordinance number 13110, previous case number 2016-0060, from the properties located in the 23 and 2400 blocks of Elam Lane and the 2300 through 2500 blocks of Gun Barrel Road, 2321 Lifestyle Way, and 7344 McCutcheon Road.
Okay, is the applicant present? Is there any opposition present? Councilman Ledford.
Chair, can you confirm, please, the alternate version was read?
Could you,
That was the planning version.
okay, could you read the alternate version?
Would you please read the alternate version, Madam Chair? Have it read into the record?
Yes, Madam Clerk. Yes.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to lift conditions of number 11B and number 11C from ordinance number 13110, previous case number 2016-0060, from the properties located in the 2300 and 2400 blocks of Elam Lane and the 2300 through 2500 blocks of Gun Barrel Road, 2321 Lifestyle Way, and 7344 McCutcheon Road, subject to certain conditions.
Councilman Ledford.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Rennick, do you want to give us a 2-second overview? And while you're coming to the microphone, let me again thank the RPA staff and CDOT staff. I don't think I see Mr. Taylor in the audience. If you are, raise your hand. For working with the applicant on the conditions for this particular property. It's been ongoing for about a couple of years now in conversation, and I really appreciate the city's effort in this. Ms. Rennick?
This is a condition related to kind of the northern part of the waterside development. And the original traffic conditions, this is two of kind of multiple conditions on the property, and the original traffic conditions were pretty specific to changes at that time that are deemed maybe no longer appropriate. So the alternate version contains a condition that's been worked out with CDOT, with a traffic impact study will be submitted for determining warranted improvements, and that will determine the specific improvements needed.
Very good. Thank you for that. Madam Chair, I move to approve the alternate version.
Second.
All right, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes, the alternate version. Madam Clerk, item C.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance, so as to rezone property located at 5217 Slayton Avenue and the unaddressed property in the 5200 block of Slayton Avenue from R2 residential zone to RTZ residential townhouse, zero lot line zone, subject to certain conditions.
Okay, Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is in your district, and per the conversation that we had at 3:30, unless you'd like to see a presentation, I'd like to go ahead and motion that we defer this for 2 weeks.
All right, thank you so much. It's been motioned and properly second. I forgot to ask, is the applicant present? Any opposition present? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Item D.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance, so as to rezone properties located at 1111 North Hawthorne Street and an unaddressed property in the 1100 block of North Hawthorne Street from R1 residential zone to RTZ residential townhouse, zero lot line zone, subject to certain conditions.
All right, is the applicant present? Is opposition present? All right, thank you. Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As Councilwoman Knoll is not here this week, I make a motion that we defer this for 1 week until she returns.
All right. So the motion is properly second. Councilwoman Coonrod.
Thank you, Chair. I just had a question. Is it just 3 people in this community that's opposing it? Just 3 people? I just want to make sure that I got the right number of
Right,
opposition.
opposition, if you could raise your hand for this case. 2,
So just 3, 4.
4.
Okay.
Yes. All right. Okay, any other comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries. This will be deferred for 1 week. Madam Clerk, item E.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance, so as to rezone property located at 73 Shallowford Road and 2 unaddressed properties in the 200 block of Old Bay Street from R1 residential zone and R3 residential zone to UGC urban general commercial zone, subject to certain conditions.
All right, is the applicant present? Okay, any opposition present? All right, we have applicant and opposition. Councilwoman Coonrod.
Thank you. Ms. Karen, can you give us a presentation?
And Councilwoman Coonrod, could you hit your light? Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, I missed the question. I apologize.
Would you give us an overview of this?
I will, yes. It's a request to rezone from R1 and R3 to Urban General Commercial Zone, property on Shallowford Road and Obie Street. The rezoning to UGC to develop 10 townhomes along Obie Street and to bring the existing multi-unit structure into compliance. There's no recent zoning history for the site, and there's no UGC zoned property near the site. So the proposed totality is the 10 new townhomes and the 16 existing multi-unit residential structure. Site surrounded by single-unit residential and vacant land along the ridge. To see the intersection of Obie and Shallowford. The site has sloping topography on Missionary Ridge with slopes ranging from 25 to 60% grade. And staff doesn't have any specific plan guidance on how to treat the slopes in this area, but we note that the applicant will be required to comply with the vegetative planning requirements that council put in a year or 2 ago. I showed some of these pictures at committee just to orient. This is Shallowford Road heading down the ridge to downtown. This is the site from Obie Street. The existing structure has that frontage. This is looking away from Shallowford. The staff noted that there's a no adopted community or area plan for the site. The proposed UGC zone would introduce an urban form, density, and mix of uses that's not supported by an area plan and is dissimilar to the surrounding development. There's no adopted land use plan to offer policy guidance on the introduction of attached housing and higher density along Obie Street. Staff noted that improving the R3 residential zone for the entirety of the site, and I'll go back just to help orient. The site has a portion of the site outlined in red, a portion of it zoned R3. I don't really have the history and kind of why there's that R3 strip running along the ridge. So a portion of the site, it's a split zoning for the site and for that multi-unit structure itself. So staff noted that approving the R3 residential zone for the entirety of the site would bring that existing residential structure into zoning compliance and would allow some limited additional residential development. Staff calculated that the rezoning to R3 based on that lot size would allow 3 to 4 additional units to be developed on the site. So staff recommended to deny the UGC and approve R3 zone for the entirety of the site for the remaining of the R1 zoned areas. There was quite a bit of opposition present at Planning Commission, concerns about traffic, the narrowness of Obie Street, the views would be blocked, and then just density in the location. Planning Commission determined the request is compatible with the general policy from the comp plan, development form, and adjacent land uses, and recommended the approval of the UGC zone subject to the following condition: a maximum building height of 3 stories. And I'll go back just because in case it comes up, I'll note that the staff recommendation, there was a note on there that the applicant would be required to reconstruct Obie Street to city standard width from Shallowford Road to the end of their development to accommodate increased traffic for this roadway. And currently, Obie Street cannot support increased volumes. That's not a condition. That would be something handled during permitting, but we do note that just to give the applicant a heads up during the rezoning process. So it comes to council with a recommendation to approve UGC with a maximum building height of 3 stories.
Okay, thank you, Karen. There were some additional things that Ethan had worked with the community on to make sure. I don't know if you got those recommendations or not in your file.
I did receive an email with 3 notes about deed restrictions, colors, and traffic. There might be another.
Some additional things.
Okay, then I'll defer to
Ethan.
Ethan for that.
All right.
Thank you. I'm
Right.
Ethan Collier, and
Give me
I'm
just
the
a moment,
applicant.
Ethan. Can we get 7 minutes on the clock, please? Got it. Okay, you can go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're the owner of the property located at 73 Shallowford, which is the current apartment complex, and have been working with the community over the last 2 months, maybe 6 weeks, to come up with some conditions that we can do that I feel like vastly improve the property on Obey Street and address a lot of the concerns that we've heard. There are a couple things that we've heard from the community that we're unable to do, but the vast majority of what we've heard we can do. So I have a list of conditions here. It's pretty long. I don't know that you want me to read it on the record. I can run through it really quickly. I don't know exactly how you want me to handle
Yeah,
that.
read it, because I want it on the record.
Okay. So the conditions that, as the applicant, we've agreed to are: condition 1, allowable uses. All commercial uses are prohibited, and that under the UGC, it would be residential use only. Condition 2 is the maximum building height for new construction, a maximum building height of 35 feet measured from the average adjacent grade for each unit. Average grade is to be measured from primary street side of building. Condition number 3 is the maximum density is 24 units total, including the 16 units that already exist on the property. condition 4 would be to widen Obey Street to a minimum of 22 feet wide from Shallowford Road and along the project frontage. And then condition 5 is all related to landscaping. Item A would be install an opaque enclosure for the dumpster at the existing apartment building. Item B would provide Class 2 trees along Shallowford Road frontage where feasible, based on existing site conditions, at minimum spacing of 25 feet and a maximum spacing of 35 feet on center. Item C would be provide a diverse, multiple canopy planted area to revegetate the remaining undeveloped slopes, approximately 9,000 to 10,000 square feet of area, with a planting coverage value of the following: 500 square feet per Class 1 tree, 200 square feet per Class 2 tree, 50 square feet per evergreen screening tree, 20 square feet per shrub with a mature height of 3 to 6 feet. 5, any preserved existing trees will count towards the slope revegetation requirement at a rate of 1,600 square feet per Class 1 tree, 800 square feet per Class 2 tree. I'll give you a copy of this when I'm done. And item D is provide a landscape buffer along the northern property line shared between tax map parcel 146LG007 and 146LG011, a buffer strip with a width of at least 15 feet and containing opaque fence at least 6 feet in height. Buffer strip shall have 6 feet of landscape plantings on the exterior side of the fence and shall be planted with appropriate trees and shrubs to provide a transition from the fence to both edges of the buffer strip. The buffer of the side lot line should not come closer than 20 feet to the right-of-way line. So those conditions we have had discussions with the community about, and we are willing to put in place in order to rezone the property.
Okay, thank you, Ethan.
Thank you.
For reading that on the record. Now, Ms. Karen, the email that I forwarded you from the Missionary Ridge
Yes.
Neighborhood Association, will you address those things?
Yes, I had, from the email, and I printed out, I had that there were, I guess, 3 possible additions. One was deed restrictions, and I just noted, I'm just referring to the email that I sent to you. The deed restrictions are generally considered a private property matter and handled privately, and generally, the city does not get involved in those. If the applicant or property owner chooses to do that, that's usually outside of the city purview, but I would defer to Phil. I'll just work through them because the second one is exterior paint, a question about can the exterior be painted in neutral tones. I noted that council doesn't often add a condition requiring a certain exterior paint color. It's a little bit beyond the scope of the use of conditions. I did note that Phil might be able to give some advice on a possible condition such as exterior to be painted or otherwise clad in materials that are in neutral colors. So I'll also defer to the attorney on that one. And the third one was about traffic safety and flow, and a concern about addition of a flashing caution light, and concerns about believe that to be the Obie Street and Shallowford Road intersection. And a possible condition there is addition of a flashing caution light at the intersection of Obie Street and Shallowford Road to be considered and reviewed by CDOT during the permitting process. Determination of need to be made by CDOT. And then the other items were just kind of some questions about kind of process and how zoning works. I'm happy to talk to anyone afterwards, unless you'd like me to address them.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate that update. So that's nothing, no conditions that we need to add. I just wanted it to be addressed so they can hear you talk about it.
Okay.
All right, Councilwoman Coon-Rosser, what's your
Did you
pleasure?
want to let the opposition speak?
Yeah, sure. Would you like them to speak? Did you want to speak? Opposition? Yeah. All right, opposition has 9 minutes.
How many minutes?
9.
9. Oh, good. My name is Bill Simmons. Thank you for giving me a hearing today on this issue. I am a property owner at the northern property line where the apartments are, where Collier Construction owns the apartments. I own the lot next door. I also own 2 lots on Obie Street, and I live across the street from the apartments. I've lived there all my life. I'm not opposed to development, but haphazard development or inappropriate development, I question that. I know there are reasons that Collier Construction wants to build 8 townhomes on Obie Street, a single-family home community, a minority community. It's been that way ever since I've lived there for 70 years. So what is the best plan for Obie Street? This may not be the best plan for Obie Street. Already single-family homes only. It's 12 feet wide at its narrowest point. Right where it's 12 feet wide, it drops right off the ridge straight down. That's not going to be easy to widen. It could be done. Why should spot UGC zoning be approved for a quiet single-family home neighborhood? Where's the precedent for that? Is that being done all over the city? Obie Street is a narrow cul-de-sac with only a few single-family homes. The RPA did not recommend UGC zoning for this location. It was a surprise when it was suddenly approved by the county commission. I was there. Just kind of RPA says, no, we don't really approve that. And then all of a sudden, county commissioners approved it. I saw that. There are a dozen or more building sites along Obie Street. If this application is approved, will those other locations be approved for UGC? What is the density you want down there on that street? Is it going to be a townhome community or is it going to be a single-family home neighborhood, as it's always been? And it could be developed as a premium single-family home neighborhood. It could be really nice. And it would be much more in keeping with the whole of the residential areas of Missionary Ridge, which, there's question whether Obie Street is Missionary Ridge or not. It's actually in the Glenwood neighborhood community. My opinion is it has no connection to Glenwood whatsoever, and it should be changed to Missionary Ridge. That's another discussion, though. And in terms of widening the street, if the project is approved, the developer is agreeing to widen the street just as far as his project. Well, there are other homes down there, and it's sort of a cul-de-sac, but you can't make a turn. You have to go into the little circle area and then back up, then come back out. Is everybody going to have to, are potentially 16 cars that live down there going to have to go down there and back up and, and what if other people develop townhomes down there? Shouldn't, if this project goes through, the entire street be widened and the cul-de-sac made wider? Seems to me that that should happen. So, reasons to deny rezoning to UGC. Inappropriate to the existing single-family neighborhood. It's a high-density development and will cause problems with parking and traffic, which have already been addressed, or mentioned, rather. Heavier traffic will have to enter Shalford on a dangerous curve. Obie Street, of course, is too narrow. It should be appropriately developed as a quiet, single-family neighborhood as it currently is. And it could really be nice. It's lower income right now, more or less. It could be developed into a premium cul-de-sac on the side of Missionary Ridge. And it would improve Collier Construction's property values. They could build a single-family home below their apartments. Other people along there. I mean, I've got a building lot right next to where these townhomes are proposed. So, I'll roll with whatever happens, but, am I going to be here next wanting to build townhomes right next to these? Am I going to be approved? I don't know. But I think there are a lot of issues with this, and I think it could be an asset to Missionary Ridge to keep this neighborhood single family, lower traffic, less congestion. Shalford Road is already crazy. So I'll close with one question. I ask everyone concerned, if you lived in a quiet, non-urban, single-family residential neighborhood, which I assume most of you do, would you vote for UGC spot zoning on your street? Thank you.
Thank you. There's 2 minutes left for any additional opposition that would like to speak. All right. Thank you. All right, Councilwoman Coonrod.
All right, do you have anything else to say?
The property is zoned R3. It's not zoned R1. It's zoned for apartments. There's already apartments on the property. So this reference to single-family, like upscale, I don't know what some of those terms mean, but it's currently zoned R3. We don't want to build more apartments on the property. We understand full well that the road is very narrow. We have invested millions already into the apartments that were blighted and completely unoccupied when we bought it, literally falling off the side of the hill. And, we want to build townhomes. They're houses. They belong in our neighborhoods, and they make a great transition between apartments and this other single-family properties that do surround us. If we could look back at the slide there that showed what the property is currently zoned, it's zoned R3. It's zoned for apartments. We don't want to build more apartments. We want to put single-family homes on it. They will be attached. It's the only way to make the numbers work. The work that we need to do on Obey Street is significant. Widening a 12-foot wide road, which, by the way, is your current road. It's the city's road. It's 12 feet wide. It's not, you can't pass 2 cars on that road right now. You can't put fire trucks and anything else on that road right now. We're going to widen it to 22 feet wide, but it's a massive undertaking to widen that road. And the only way that we can really make that happen is if we build the townhomes there. We agree that it needs to be widened, and we will do that. I'm happy to answer any other questions. I'm out of time.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ethan. I
Council-
appreciate you.
Councilwoman Coonrod, I do have a light from Councilman Ledford.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Councilman Ledford.
Madam Clerk, if you allow me to, please, point of clarity on something I heard during opposition. It was referenced that the county commission had voted on that. It was the planning commission that votes on this. And I say that because we do have 2 county commissioners in the audience with us in the room, that I want to make sure we clarify that was not the county commission. That was the planning commission, for the record. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilman Ledford. Councilwoman Coonrod, if you would hit your light again, please. All right.
And thank you all for coming up here from Missionary Ridge. I attended the meeting at Missionary Ridge, and there was a lot of things that was said, and it was a lot of stuff that was really nasty. We're just gonna be honest, that was said in that room. And when we talk about the minority community that's on Obey, as if like they don't deserve to have any other type housing.
in this area, when we say that, you know, it'll be better off to have premium family housing, and I've seen what premium family housing has done. It doesn't allow a lot of people to be housed, right? I know now, you did pose a question about if we would like to have UGC in the area that we live in. And it's ironic that, you know, Missionary Ridge, I'm at the base of Missionary Ridge in Eastdale. Not sure if you all come across around and come over to my side of the community, but in the middle of my community, it splits Eastdale in half with a premium family community called Ridgeside, right in the middle of my community. Eastdale it has all kind of zoning, because we need all types of housing in our community. And I wish that everybody in Chattanooga from all income levels will be able to have the same amazing view that you have on Missionary Ridge. But a lot of people can't afford to live on Missionary Ridge. Maybe if we could add all kinds of housing on Missionary Ridge, it'll be more inclusive. It'll be more diverse. Give a lot of other people the opportunity to have that same amazing view that's in their neighborhood. And right now, we need housing. Everybody doesn't want to live in a single-family house. Some people can only afford to live in a townhouse. Some people can only afford to live in a duplex. Some people can only afford to live on the couch of their parents or their friends, right? So, from my lens, it's going to be a great project that's going to happen. As you mentioned, this minority community has been on that street. It's been a lack of investment on that street. As you said and pointed out, it's our street. We've not even done anything on this street to make it even look better. Not even improve the landscaping or trim back the trees in that community, right? So I think it is an opportunity. I thank you, Ethan, for taking the risk, taking the chance to come to District 9 to improve this area. I really appreciate you. And with that being said, I'm going to move to approve.
The motion is already on the floor. Did you want it amended? Move as amended? Oh, it's not in there yet. I'm sorry, my bad. Move to approve. I got a second. Any comments or questions?
So to confirm, we're moving to approve with conditions?
We moving on the floor, right? Just putting it on the floor. Right, it's on the floor. So, I'm sorry, Councilwoman Coonrod. So we have the motion and a second. Any comments or questions? Would you like that, the amendments,
To
the ones that
make the motion to amend it with the conditions.
Okay. There's a motion on the floor with the amendments. Can I get a second? Okay. Any comments or questions about the motion to amend? All in favor of the amendments?
Aye.
Okay. All opposed? Amendments pass. And would you like a motion to move as amended?
Move as amended.
Okay, it's moved as amended. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion moved as amended. Did I do that right, Phil? Because all right, it could look complicated. All right. Madam Clerk, item L.
Did you say, would you like for me to read the alternate version?
The alternate version? Yes, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance, Sections 38-2, 38-36, 38-432, 38-436, and 38-568 relative to short-term vacation rental certificates.
Okay. You've heard the alternate version read. Madam Vice Chair Hill, followed by Councilman Ledford.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that we defer this 2 weeks. We're still working on getting the language just right, and that'll give council more time to review it.
All right. Councilman Ledford?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to second that motion and confirm with the city attorney that we will probably be looking at alternate version number 2.
Yes.
Thank you.
And that will be heard on the 22nd.
Thank you. Second, Sam.
All right. Motion that's been moved and properly second to defer this until August 22nd. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. And before we go on, I did want to recognize, I'm sorry, Hamilton County Chairman Chip Baker. So I got you this time. All right. So, resolutions, Madam Clerk, item A.
A resolution authorizing the city of Chattanooga to allocate $35,000 from the American Rescue Plan Act Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Funds to Olivet Baptist Church for continuation and expansion of the Impact Now OBC program, which provides underserved youth with opportunities to become successful members of the community through vocational training, mentorship, focused education, and further life skills training.
All right, Councilman Henderson.
Move approval. Second.
Motion and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. If there's no objection from council, we can take items B through F as a group. Okay, Madam Clerk?
Item B, a resolution confirming Mayor Kelly's appointment of Chip Baker to the Metropolitan Airport Authority for a term beginning on August 9, 2023, and ending on August 8, 2026. Item C, a resolution confirming Mayor Kelly's reappointment of Harriet Stokes to the Metropolitan Airport Authority for a term beginning on February 16, 2023, and ending on February 15, 2026. Item D, a resolution confirming Mayor Kelly's appointment of Reginald Jordan to the Stormwater Regulations Board for a term beginning on August 9, 2023, and ending on August 8, 2026. Item E, a resolution confirming Mayor Kelly's appointment of Lee Helena to the Form-Based Code Committee for a term beginning on August 9, 2023, and ending on August 8, 2026. Item F, a resolution confirming Mayor Kelly's appointment of Cynthia Coleman to the Passenger Vehicle for Hire Board for a term beginning on August 9, 2023, and ending on August 8, 2026.
Councilwoman Burrs.
Move approval.
Second.
Properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. No objection from, if there's no objection from council, we can take planning items G, H, and I as a group. Okay, Madam Clerk?
Item G, a resolution approving a special exceptions permit for a residential plan unit development for properties located at 2510, 2512, and 2514 Will Kelly Road. Item H, a resolution approving a special exceptions permit for a residential plan unit development for properties located in the 500 block of Double Play Drive, the 500 and 600 blocks of Sliding Home Run, and the 8,000 and 8,100 blocks of Slugger Way. Item I, a resolution supporting the Hamilton County and City of Chattanooga joint application for the Promoting Resilient Operations for Transformative, Efficient, and Cost-Saving Transportation Protect Program grant from the United States Department of Transportation to plan for increased transportation infrastructure resilience, and if awarded, the grant will be at no cost to the City of Chattanooga.
All right, Councilman Ledford.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Is there any opposition to items G and H, both in District 4?
Is there any opposition for those items? Can you raise your hand?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Madam Clerk, item J. Oh, I'm sorry, Councilman Henderson, I apologize.
Madam Chair, I know we've already recognized the Chair, Chip Baker, but were there any other appointees to the boards that we need to recognize tonight?
Yes, we do. Is there anyone that was appointed to a board that's here today? If so, would you please stand? All right.
Okay.
Well, even if not, yes, he is. Well, I guess he didn't feel like standing today. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for serving. For serving on the boards. We appreciate you, your time and service. Thank you, Councilman Henderson. I appreciate that. All right, item J, Madam Clerk.
A resolution authorizing the execution of a change order with Alfred Benesh and Company to provide engineering services for the remainder of contract number T150240101, Charlotteford Road, Airport Road to Jersey Pike widening project to include surveying, environmental services, roadway and bridge design, signal design, geotechnical services, utility coordination, right-of-way acquisition services, bidding and construction services as funds are approved for each phase in the amount of $1,147,672.68.
Move to approve.
Second.
motion and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Now it comes time for our purchases.
Good evening. We have 5 purchases recommended for approval. The first is from the Department of Technology Services. This is a new blanket contract for law enforcement records management system software. This will be a 4-year agreement with year 1 not to exceed $900,000 and years 2, 3, and 4 not to exceed $500,000 per year for a total estimate of $2,400,000. The award will go to Mark 43 as the best proposal for the city of Chattanooga. Next, from the Chattanooga Fire Department, this is a purchase of 1 replacement air compressor to fill SCBA bottles/tanks for use by the Chattanooga Fire Department firefighters at a cost of $99,878 to Municipal Emergency Services. This purchase will utilize Sourcewell contract number RFP 032620 revision 7. Next, from the Fleet Management Division of Public Works, this is an increase to PO 555428-71 with Ford of Dalton, which was ordered November 18, 2020 at $98,409 in the amount of $58,980 due to the model year adjustment. The new price total will be $157,389. Next, from Economic Development, this will be a 6-month extension with Help Right Here to the existing agreement for the sanctioned homeless encampment management and will increase the spend by $81,850 to an overall contracted amount of $286,475. And last, from the Chattanooga Fire Department, this is a 9% increase submitted by Ray System Equipment Parts and Service Vendor before the renewal date of September 10, 2023, which was due to the increase in raw materials. The requested increase is $5,383.73 for a new total estimated spend of $65,383.73.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. All right, now come time for committee reports. Councilman Henderson.
No report.
Councilman Snoop.
No report, Madam Chair.
Councilman Ledford.
Madam Chair, no report, but I do want to publicly thank Councilman Smith for filling in for me last week in my absence.
Councilman Hester.
We met today. We'll meet again in 2 weeks.
All right, Councilwoman Coonrod. No report. Councilwoman Burrs.
No report.
Madam Vice Chair Hill.
No report.
All right. Now comes time of recognition of persons wishing to address the council. If you wish to address the council, please line up behind this podium here as our city attorney read the rules.
So at the end of every council business meeting, the chair will recognize members of the public who wish to address the council. Here are your rules. Each speaker wishing to address the council can only be recognized up front for the microphone that's provided for that purpose. You can't have more than 3 minutes to speak, and you can address the council only upon matters within their legislative and quasi-judicial authority and not upon matters which are not under their authority or regulated by other governmental bodies or agencies. You can't use any vulgar or obscene language, nor use the floor to personally attack or personally denigrate others. You can address your comments to the council as a whole and not towards individual council members. And lastly, don't engage in disorderly conduct or disrupting a public meeting, which is prohibited by Tennessee law. And someone commits that offense if a person substantially obstructs or interferes with the meeting by physical action or verbal utterance with the intent to prevent or disrupt a lawful meeting or gathering. Having stated those rules, please go ahead, sir.
All right, you can go ahead.
Oh, okay, I was waiting for the 3 minutes to come up, but it never did. But anyway, good afternoon. My name is Edward Green, Jr. I represent Ms. Coonrod on the sign committee. I requested some bylaws from the city attorney in regards to operating procedures in our meeting. The last meeting that we had was kind of hostile, and I didn't really like the way the mannerism of the conducting person who was in charge. So I just feel like there needs to be some training before you start putting people on boards so that they would understand the methodology of how the system is supposed to be ran. And finally, I would like to thank the chairperson, Ms. Dotley, and the entire commission for allowing me to have been able to have a sign placed at the corners of 35th and South Broad and 35th and St. Elmo Avenue in honor of Officer Clarence Edward Hamler. This Monday, August the 14th, will be 46 years that Officer Hamler was killed at that Red Food store. I would like to know if where I placed that sign is private property, because I was trying to erect a similar monument in honor of Officer Hamler that is erected in Commissioner Smith's district. I don't know if it's private property, but in talking to the people at the signage department, they said that it was not something that the city did. And I asked the question, who did it? And so I'm finding out that some comrades of officer that was killed on that street, along with some private money, was donated. So if that's so, if that money is still available. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Green.
Sylvester Harris, 3300 Curtis Street. I'm back again, and my cry is East Chattanooga again. And I wish I had that guy that came up. He was a good guy. He came out to East Chattanooga. I asked him about 2 years ago, would he look at the Herrick Tubman site? And he did. He came out. He was a man of his word. But I wish we had the same problem we having down here, which people is having a hard time, with development coming to their neighborhood, and we're having a hard time getting somebody to come. And I was just hoping this board one day could join together and try to help us out here in East Chattanooga. We all one team, one city. If we look good, the whole city looks good. Like I told you once before, East Chattanooga is 80% rentals. And what happened with that was a lot of the area got old, and the older people died out, and the families just sold the houses out. And in that case, people started renting. Then when Section 8 came up, and then the housing authority started closing down housing authorities, people had to be placed. So we ended up with a lot of people that's renting. So that's why we don't have a lot of opposition against certain things, because we don't have enough, people that own their property. And when you don't have a state in that, sometimes you just don't care as much. But we do need help in East Chattanooga. I was hoping that this board that has people that knows people that's looking for to do some development, send them to East Chattanooga. And I told when Bert was the person up there, we talked, and at one time it was a lot of stuff going in other places, and they didn't want it in their area. And I said, Bird, I tell you what, I guarantee that they're going to tell you to put that out there in East Chattanooga on that Tuckman site. He came back to me and said, man, you was correct. We just don't need anything just because we got the property, throw it out there to us. We want to develop that property and put, some good housing out there when we can bring our tax base back. That way we're going to get our better schools. We're going to get better a lot of everything, stores and a lot of stuff. But the way it's going right now, we need help. And I'm asking this council to look in their heart to help us out there. And we can do this. Because like I said, if we shine, everybody shine. East Chattanooga got a lot of good people out there. All they need is a boost. And a boost means I don't need you to help me all the way. Just help me over the hurdle. And when I get to the top, I can maintain from that. But every now and then we need a little boost. We ain't saying come out there and take it over and we need just a boost. And a boost can get us where we want to go. Then we can take care of business. A little help from the board, from the city, from the mayor, from everybody involved. And Jermaine, we can do better in East Chattanooga. Thank you for your time, and thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. All right, Mr. Bill.
Madam Chair, I guess you're ahead of me time-wise, but I can't resist. It appears as if Monty Bell, the homeless journalist, the gray-haired fox, new address, 1000 Lindsay Street. I don't have to repeat this at 625 Georgia Avenue tomorrow because the chair from the county is here who seems to think that he's the chair of the city council tonight. But on last week, I gave you, Madam Chair, 2 copies of failing papers in the Circuit Court of Hamilton County, Tennessee, docket number 19C-1049, docket number 19C-1113. I hope that you were able to pass it along to the new police chief. She and 3 white boys arrested me on a closed case. And I still don't have my bicycle or my very valued tape recorder that was removed from my person. I still have a bicycle that I don't have as a result of this illegal arrest. 211 billion, 34 million is for this fraud. Now, the failing papers, you want to read it because it says that it's in the circuit court, Monty Dwayne Bell plaintiff versus David Tula's defendant. That's one person. I've got 175 entries of one person. But here in 17C-820, where there's 165 defendants, I don't have 6 entries in this. This is against Andy Burke. Not even 6 entries. So if you're not aiding and abetting David Tulis, which I asked you all to keep him from here, then how does he, after he's in default, and you've got to get what's called the judge's rule docket. I've been at this a long time. There's no way I'm going to have black people destroy me, aiding and abetting white people. I don't care where you come from. And I'm not looking behind me because I don't have to. I'm a soldier and I move forward step by step. I'm not worried about any of you in black skin. I've been at this a long time, and you all are going to pay me my money. You've got less than 30 days to do it. August the 1st started your deadline. That was last Tuesday. This city attorney or nobody else is going to commit this fraud on the court against me and live to enjoy it. And this is not a threat. This is what you all have done to me. Now, you want to look on September the 19th of those dockets I gave you. You'll find that there's a white boy named J.B. Bennett closed the case on all of you. I want my money. 211 billion, 34 million for your fraud. It's better to share.
All right, council. All right, I don't see anyone else wishing to address the council. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Council, I'm sorry about that. Councilman Ledford.
Madam Chair, I just wanted to acknowledge Mr. Jack Dooley's in the audience with us again, watching our democratic process. And he's got a fine lapel pin on that jacket right there. Jack, you want to stand up for us again? Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, Jack. All right.
Thank you, Jack, and thank you for keeping your eye on us too, buddy. Madam Chair, thank you.
All right, meeting adjourned.
Yeah, have a good one.